Teresa from Dodge Nature Center, and it's time for another Nature to Go. Now there's an old saying, there's no such thing as bad weather, it's just bad clothing. But on a day like today, it's the end of April, and it's snowing, yeah, even if you have the right clothing, you may not want to spend time outdoors. So instead, how about you settle back and read a great book about the outdoors? I have 3 books to share with you today. 3 different age groups that can read about nature and enjoy themselves without being outside in the cold. So first up is the Scaredy Squirrel series by Melanie Watts. Now, these are great books because you have a squirrel who is a major worrywart. He has a number of fears and some really interesting ways to try to deal with all of these things that he's scared about. 2 of the books that I really like from this series is the first book, Scaredy Squirrel, and then there's Scaredy Goes Camping, which again has some really crazy solutions to some of the fears that he deals with. And it's always surprising in the end when he realizes, oh, things aren't quite as bad as they seem. So this is a great series for younger kids, but even as adults, there's a lot of humor in the books and something that you might want to consider. For your upper elementary, middle school age kids, there's the Hatchet Series. Now, a lot of schools actually have Hatchet as part of their literature curriculum, so your children may have already read this. Again, it's a book that, while it's aimed at a particular audience as an adult, you can read it and still enjoy this book as well. Brian is a young man who is the sole survivor of a plane crash, and he has to use his wits, he has to use his own abilities to survive. And it's really interesting to see the emotional struggles that he goes through, but in the end it's self-reliance, problem solving that helps him survive. This book became part of a series, so if you are reading it with your child or your child's reading it, there's a whole set of books that look at this initial incident called Hatchet, but then it goes beyond into a whole other series when Brian has other adventures as he deals with being alive in the woods. The last book is one that would be for adults. This is a nonfiction book, and it's called Lost in the Wild, and it is by Carrie J. Griffith. This is true story. Actually, it's 2 stories in the one book, and it follows what happened when 2 different people got lost in the North Woods, northern Minnesota, boundary waters up into the Quetico. And what I found particularly interesting was learning about the search and rescue aspect of what was being done to help rescue these people once they were known that they were lost. So it's local. Part of that's what makes it really interesting. Some complaints about the book: you have the 2 stories happening every other chapter. So you might want to read every other chapter to finish the one story, then go back and read the opposite chapters in order to read the second story if you find it too confusing to try to alternate between the chapters. But being that it was local, it was interesting in terms of learning what mistakes the people made, what you could have done differently, what kinds of things to pay attention to if you're interested in being an outdoors person, doing sort of that backwoods camping, and how easily things can happen that you don't expect. So all of these books are available through the Dakota County Library System. But if you don't want to go outside to a library to get the books, you could also do the ebook system that is available through Dakota County. Download the Libby app, and all 3 of these books are available on that app through Dakota County Library System, and you can start reading today. The next time it's a rainy day and you're looking for something to do because you maybe don't want to go outside, here's a recommendation for a couple of different kinds of books that you might want to look into. Thanks, and we'll talk to you again next time on Nature to Go.